Okay, so hello everyone. Those of you that don't know me, my name is Ben Moore. I'll do a little bit of introduction to myself in just a moment. But today's session is looking at how to become a Google certified trainer. So as it says on the screen there, becoming a trainer is easy. All you need to do is to prepare and evidence the work you've previously done. Now, you'll probably ask, why have I got two different badges on the screen? Just because this is the older badge, the one with the blue banner at the top. Some trainers are still using that. They've just rebranded this year to see this new badge appear for Google certified trainers. But if you see either badge or sort of anything of this nature, you'll know both of them are trainers. But it's just to give you a heads up. They're sort of transitioning between the two at the moment. So about me, I'm a Google certified educator level 1 and 2, and Darren will crucify me if I don't say this on a recording so you can look back. I am the youngest certified trainer in the world right now. Something I'm very proud of, and something that I do like to try and tell people in these meetings. I'm very proud of that. So I'm an associate IT and computer science teacher at New Rickstones Academy, and I'm also a lead innovator for the AUT. Hence why I'm here doing this training with you all today. So I'm going to send the presentation slides out after this. So you've got my email on there and a Twitter handle as well if you want to contact me, or you've got any questions, or just want a little bit of support or guidance. You can always drop us a line on either one of those channels, and I'll be more than happy to support you. Okay, so a couple of things about Google certified trainer. Before you apply, sort of prerequisites as such, you should have some form of training under your belt already. So it doesn't have to be Google Workspace related, or G Suite as it was formerly known. It doesn't have to be that sort of training. It can be related to educational technology products or extensions, or something you use in the classroom. It could be anything. Now, it's all well and good having that training or having sort of that experience, but you need to be able to evidence that as well. So if you're doing training sessions, it could be one-to-one with staff. It could be as a department. It could be as a staff CPD for support or teaching staff. You need to have evidence of when those happen. So just dates, how long the session was, how many people were there, what did you go through, that sort of thing. And always ask for that feedback. A great way of doing that is just set up yourself a simple Google form, get a few people to fill it out for you at the end of the session. And that will really help you for when you decide you want to become a Google certified trainer. And try to keep in touch with other trainees, with trainees. So if you do a training for people, always try and do a follow-up or offer some support, or send an email to ask if everything's okay, if they want any other information. Those sort of things will really help you for when you go through the application stage, because you've got to evidence and put all this into context. So sorry about that. You have to put that all into the application form. So it's good to have that in advance before you actually start the application process. Now, just a little statistic for you. In 2020, as we know, it was a global pandemic. We had a sort of a rough year. Trainers reached over 5 million educators worldwide, or more than 5 million educators worldwide. So educators have a huge impact on schools, on wider communities, on educators. Both staff and students are affected by trainers, and it's by far the best professional development I've ever done. And I'm not just saying that because I have to deliver the session. I really do mean that, and we'll talk about why that is so in just a moment. So the application. So we've spoken about what we need to have beforehand. Now, to apply for Google certified trainer, you must have level 1 and 2 educator status already. You can't just go for level 2 and then apply for training. You do have to have educator level 1 and then educator level 2 as well. So I've done a session on that a little bit earlier on, so I'm not going to go through those bits. If you'd like to see some more about that, you can see the recording from the session I did this morning. But something you do need to do is something called a trainer application, a trainer skills assessment. Now, the thing here to get training, you do need to have what's called a trainer skills assessment. So it says it's a 90-minute online exam. If you've done level 1 and 2, which you have to do to get to the skills assessment, to be honest with you, it doesn't take you much more than 20 to 30 minutes, if I'm being completely honest. And you know that there's nothing that should surprise you in there. It's actually surprisingly easy. You think it's almost too easy. but you have done it, and it is valid for 3 years after you've completed that skills assessment as well. There is a pass or fail sort of leeway of 80%. If it's automatically marked by a computer, so never looked at by a human. You do need to have 80% of that assessment right to pass, and I don't have any worries if you've done level 1 and 2. I've never heard of anyone to fail that skills assessment, so as long as you've done those 2, you should be fine. Again, you do need access to a webcam and Chrome, and make sure that's the latest version of Chrome. So if you're using a Chromebook, probably best to restart it at least once a week, if not 2 to 3 times, because Google roll out updates, and Chromebooks don't necessarily tell you when there's an update ready to go, whereas if you're on a Mac or Windows machine, you'll get like an update sign in the top right. So worth noting, if you're on a Chromebook, just restart it probably before you do the exam. So next part then is the application itself. So you've got level 1, level 2 under your belt. You've done the training skills assessment. Next is your application status. So there's different elements to your application. So it talks about things like evidencing your previous trainings, and you're going to talk about one in particular in depth, why you did it, who was the target audience, was it effective, what support did you follow up on. They will then ask you for some resources, so your slides presentation, it could be your thing link you've set up, it could be your it could be a video you've made for them, it could be access to the shared drive, it could be anything. Now, what's really important, if you're when sharing all these links, make sure you've definitely got your access level right. If they go through the application and you don't have the access levels right, they don't even look at the rest of your application. That is really, really important to make sure you do that. Now, the second part of that is you do have to do a video for Google. So that in effect, they check your video and they almost assess your ability to teach them their skills. So I'm not trying to put you off here, but it is Google's certified trainer program has around a 42% acceptance rate. So there's only around 8,000 trainers globally. So it makes it quite a niche market, or quite a niche group of people that are able to do, or that are accepted as Google certified trainers. Now, if you don't get it first time, please don't be put off by that. I applied for the next level of Google, so Innovator. I applied for that last year, and I didn't get it first time. I got rejected, and it's completely normal to have that. And the way I look at it is, if that cohort or that group wasn't right for me, rather than me not being right for the group. So don't be too hard on yourself if that was to happen, but I'm sure it won't, because you guys have done level 1 and 2, and you'll be watching through this application today. So I'm going to show you my video, which will make me feel very uncomfortable because I don't like hearing my own voice, but this is the video that I had to make for Google. Now, it breaks up into 2 parts. One of those parts is 30 seconds to introduce yourself. So 30 seconds to talk about you, what you do, and why you want to become a trainer. The second part of it, the next 60 seconds, so it's a 90-second video in total. The next 60 seconds is for you to demo a product. It has to be a Google for Education or Google Workspace product of some form, whether it be you showing someone how to set up a label in Gmail, whether it's showing people how to change access levels in Drive, whether it's to be setting up a slideshow. It could be anything. I in particular did Google Forms, and I created a virtual escape room last year for my students in music. So I'm just going to reshare my screen with you all to make sure I've got the tab shared for audio. So give me just one moment. Okay. Okay, so as it says there, just 1 minute to show you. Sorry, it's 3 minutes, not 90 seconds. Apologies, I got that wrong. 1 minute to show your personality, introduce you, what you do, where you do it, etc. Try and get in there why you feel passionate about Google, your Googliness, as it's sort of said, your Googliness. So why you're passionate about Google for Education products, and then 2 minutes to show the training skills. So I'm going to sit here and play this video for you. I'm going to sit and scream as you watch it because I don't like listening to my own voice, but I think it's important to show you the sort of thing that you'd sort of be expected to produce as such. So I'm just going to mute myself and play this video for you.
Hello, my name is Ben Moore from Whittam in Essex. I'm a Google Certified Educator Level 1 and 2, and I'm also part of the innovators in my local multi-academy trust, helping to implement the use of technology across the 58 academies in our group. I'm an associate teacher during the day, mainly covering digital skills and music, but do act as a cover supervisor across all other subjects too. I believe I'd make a good trainer because I have strong beliefs about using the G Suite package to increase productivity and reducing the workload and stress of my students and colleagues. I also manage the lettings and health and safety coordination for my 2 academies and have been implementing the use of the G Suite package across my team during all aspects of the job over the last few years. And I feel I'd be able to demonstrate my expertise and help others around the country and the world to use the G Suite package to its full potential. I'm passionate about helping others and being part of an ever-moving trend in society. So for my demo, I'm going to be taking you through a escape room that I've made for my music students. So this is an easy way of doing some revision based on content you've already covered. And you can see from this first page, it's just about collecting their information. So I've got the email collection selected there. So make sure they're collecting the email addresses, and it's limited to my domain as well. So the first room in the escape room is all about true and false answers. So they have to get the true and false correct, and they have to put a code at the bottom. So I've used response validation to make sure the answer meets my criteria. So regular expression matches true, true, false, false, true. And you get a custom error text that's not quite right. Please try again if they get the code wrong. The next part of the escape room is about listening to the 5 songs and hearing a number in the songs, and putting the 5-digit code in the bottom here. So again, response validation for regular expression matches 78523, and a custom error text asking them to try again if they don't get it right. The next page is about reading the notes on the scale and putting the code in the bottom here. So the text contains badge, and again, you have a custom error text on there. So any other answers will not be accepted. Moving down to the last page, you have to listen to, again, a song that's linked into the form, get the answers right, and the last question to get through to the final room, or to escape, is a section based on answer. So all wrong answers are set to go back to the start of that room, and the right answer takes you through to the congratulations and well done page. And the well done page, as you can see, it congratulates them, and I've created a badge in Google Drawings which they can download and show off to their friends. A great way of doing revision and covering content you've already done in a fun way.
Okay, so that was my application video. Now, as I say, looking back on that, I probably could have made that a bit better. Now I've been doing it for a little while. It's maybe a little bit rough around the edges for what I would, how I look at myself now. But you have that first minute, and it's actually quite hard to sit there and talk about yourself for a minute, because I think I struggle. I used to really struggle talking about myself, and it's only really since becoming a trainer and stuff where you have to introduce yourself and you have to tell people what you do that I've sort of felt a little more comfortable in doing so. But talking about yourself for a minute, for someone that's not particularly confident in doing so, can be really difficult. So what I would recommend, if you're going to do when you apply for this and when you get on to doing this, is I'd write out a script, is what I did. It may sound silly, but I write out a script to do mine, and I found that really helped me. I just put my phone on the bottom of my screen and recorded myself talking about it with the phone at the bottom. Now, this video you can make it in any way you want, in any platform. It doesn't really matter, but it does need to be uploaded to YouTube and then left as an unlisted video. So you can put it onto your onto your personal email YouTube account, but it does need to be unlisted, and the link will need to be shared within the application form in which you fill out for trainer. Now, it's worth mentioning at this point, when you apply for any Google certification, and possibly even external EdTech tools as well, please don't apply using your work or your school email address, because then your token or your accreditation will be linked to that one email address. And for example, if you were to move schools or leave that company, move to a different trust or anything like that, your accreditation sticks on that one account that you set it on. So I'd always go with your personal email address to do any of these accreditations for. Now, if you do make a mistake and put it on there with your school one, it can be changed. It's a little bit long-winded, but we can support you in getting that changed as well. So yeah, try to use your personal one if you can. Right, so the next section I want to talk about is the trainer application itself. So I've got a screenshot of some of the stuff that I put in my application on the screen here. So it says recertification as a Google certified trainer requires at least 12 trainings a year. Please state your training and coaching goals or to meet or exceed this expectation. So when you're accepted as a trainer, you are expected to deliver at least 12 trainings a year. Now that can be one-to-one, it could be department level, it could be for a couple of members of staff, it could be a whole staff CPD, it could be any of those mixes. And 12 probably sounds a lot, but especially like now, today, you know, some of us have done maybe 4 or 5 already, you know, so it does rack up pretty quick. And especially if you're doing, you know, think about it, it's one a month, you know, one time a month you have to help someone with something Google related and just log it as a training on the portal. So it's really quite simple to do. Once you break it down and look at what consists of a training, those 12 trainings rack up quite quick. And I think during lockdown, a lot of us, you know, I think for me, I think in the last 12 months, I think I've logged about 114, 115 trainings. So it does rack up pretty quick. Even if you make a YouTube video or a YouTube or even just a video to send to a colleague, that counts as a training. So you can log that as well. So you're going to get this presentation later anyway, but there's a link in here to take you straight to the trainer application. So I don't know if my screen can allow me to show you right now, but I'm going to try. So it will take you straight to the Google for Education website. And when you scroll down here, you'll get a page that looks like this. So you're going to click on Professional Development Programs. So when you click on Explore Programs and scroll down, you'll see Become a Certified Trainer. So that's the one we're looking at in particular today. Now, you do have 2 other options. You can go for a Certified Coach and a Certified Innovator, or you could do all 3. It's up to you. There's no limit. It doesn't really matter what order you do them in either. I went for a trainer, then innovator. Coach has only been out for around 6 months, so I've not had a chance to really have a go at that one yet. But certified trainer is the one we're going to go for. So you just click learn more on there, and it will take you through the application. Now, what I did is I pre-filled it all out in a Google Doc first. I managed to get a template. And then I went through the doc and then almost just copied and pasted it straight into the document. I'm happy to support anyone that is going to apply and wants to apply. I can help you to tidy up your application, and I'm sure the rest of the team would obviously stand by and help you out as well. Now, I'm not going to go through all the stuff in here, you know, on this website. You can do a little bit of reading on that for yourself, but something that is one of the benefits of becoming a Google certified trainer, innovator, or coach is you get mentioned on the Google for Education's global education directory. So when I go onto the directory, this is how people would find support in their local area based on their location. That's quite a nice touch, I think personally, for becoming part of the Google certified trainer community, because there's lots of benefits, lots of things we get, and that moves me swiftly on to the next point really. After you're accepted, wear your badge with pride. It does take a lot of work, and it is a hard. I'm not saying to you it's going to be easy. If it was easy, everybody could do it. But if you've done level 1 and 2 and you put your effort into it, you can do this. A lot of you do this every day in your classrooms, with your students, with your colleagues, and this is just Google's way of recognizing you for that achievement, because it does take a lot of work. Prepare your inbox. Now, when I say this, Rich will back me up, and Almaz, I think you'll back me up on this as well. It does go crazy. It does go crazy, but in a good way. There's lots of educators and trainers involved in that community that just ask for support, give you resources to use, give you tips and tricks you didn't know about, offer you PD sessions. You can even get invited to paid events where you're paid to train other people. So it's a real niche market, and the inbox does go crazy, but in a good way. It is actually awesome. That was it's American awesome, but I thought I'd chuck it in there. So you get to create your profile in the education activity app. So I showed you that just a moment ago, is the education directory. The activity app's just the back end for us guys just to submit our trainings to Google to see. If you don't manage the 12 trainings a year, they do sort of take that status away from you. You do have to re-certify each year, but as long as you hit those 12 trainings, you just automatically recertify. You don't have to do anything else after that point. So log your trainings, as many as you can, no matter the size. So, for example, that 2-minute demo slam I did earlier, 1:30 roughly for us all in the main room. Although it was only 2-minute training, that's still a training. I can still log that. Now, the reason Google want everyone to log those trainings is because they want to see how much we're doing for the community, how many people we're impacting, how many people are gaining skills from us teaching and be able to do these things with staff. Now, the more we log, the more Google see we do, the more benefits we gain as trainers. So it's in our best interest, really, to log as many as we can, no matter the size. As I mentioned earlier, do have to renew yearly, but that is only if you don't meet the 12 trainings. Every 3 years, keep up to date with your level 1 and 2 training, which you only have to do the scenarios again, so it makes it really simple if you recertify within 3 years. Awesome benefits, and there's loads. EdTech tools that we've going through today. Moat, we get a license to Moat as being part of the Google Trainer community. Canopy Workspace Skills, we get an unlimited license to that. We get discounts on lots of other EdTech tools. We get some free swag coming in the post at times. We get invited to appear on the Google for Education YouTube channels. Loads of things. I can't go through all of them today, but since in the last 12 months, we've added, probably tripled the amount of benefits that we get as trainers. So certainly worth getting involved with. And my personal favorite, actually, you get your own Google Trainer domain. So what that means is, on your work email address, I'm going to use mine as an example. I've got bmore@newrickstonesacademy.org. Now, that bit after where it says newrickstonesacademy.org, that is your domain. Now, you get your own one of those as being part of a trainer. So I've got my own. It's bm@trainingwithbm.com. So you can have your own training domain. You have access to the admin console. You can create your own users. You can use it for demonstrations, for your training. You can give loads of people accounts for that domain to do training on. So if you're going into a classroom in another school, you can give everyone an account and everyone can have access to everything because you've allowed that from the Google admin console. So you do learn a lot from managing your own domain, and that helps you in the school environment as well, because then you can suggest things and be your own innovators for the school, which is what we're trying to promote. That gives you a real stepping stone, a real foot in the door to be able to suggest these changes, try these changes before they're implemented on your school domain across all your staff. You can test it for yourself before suggesting it, which is incredible. And the trainer perks I've touched a little bit on, but there's many more that I haven't run through today. Last few, because I know we've only got 2 minutes or so. You do get exclusive trainer professional development sessions. So companies like Smart Whiteboards, Moat. We've had some stuff from I've got so many companies. We've got Read and Write, Equatio have done some for us. We've got stuff come through from Grammarly, Cami, Loom, Screencastify, those sort of places. Everyone's giving us loads of PD stuff. So, they give us training and then free product licenses as well. Google partnerships. So we receive early access and early event announcements. So we get to go to the trainings. We get early access before the rest of the community get it. And we also get a free account to trial all those new features and licenses and everything else on as well. So, lots and lots of different opportunities for us to experience. So I'm running really close to time. I know there's only a few of us in here, but is there any particular questions anyone has that they'd like to ask me whilst I'm here? I'll share out this presentation and say you have my contact details on there, so you can always get in contact and ask for things.